Hello, good evening, Brett. This is David here. Thanks for coming on to my podcast. Uh, First of all, I just want to ask, where do you grow up? Like, how did you get to the MMA and all that? Just the basic stuff.
Mingalaba, thank you for having me. Yeah, so I started wrestling. Started with wrestling at the age of 5. I was in second grade,
Ooh,
and I was in a
okay,
youth wrestling program. So my whole life it was wrestling, wrestling, wrestling. And then on TV, I saw guys using wrestling in the MMA cage. Like, oh, maybe I'll do that one day. I started boxing. I did amateur boxing in college. I took classes in high school. I had my first boxing match when I was about 18 or 19 in
hmm,
college with the headgear, the amateur rules. I ended up having about 48 amateur boxing matches. So I had a lot of fights. Then I had a lot of amateur Muay Thai fights. I was gradually building towards MMA. I just did a whole lot of amateur fights. I was a school teacher. I had a degree in teaching, and I was teaching kids during the day, training at night. Every weekend, I
okay,
would have a fight, either a boxing or Muay Thai or amateur MMA. And then eventually turned pro. I was 2-0 at the time, and I decided
okay,
I need to train full time. I need to fully commit my life to this. So I bought a one-way ticket to Thailand. I did the Tiger
ooh,
Muay Thai tryouts. And then that changed my life forever. As soon as I did those tryouts, I fought in one championship right afterwards, and I fought Muay
okay,
Thai, definitely in Thailand. And then that's been my life since. I trained Tiger Muay Thai over in Thailand, and then in
hmm,
America, I trained Jackson Wink MMA in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So yeah.
okay, yeah. So like back to your childhood, like you started doing wrestling at 5. When did you start boxing? Like 10 or what's your age?
Hmm. I think I was maybe 13 or 14. I did my first boxing class. But I
Okay.
didn't have my first amateur fight until I was in college at a college boxing team when I was
Right.
19. Yes.
Okay.
Um,
How did you get started on the Muay Thai? Like,
yeah, Muay Thai. I had my first amateur Muay Thai fight through Animals MMA. I think I was also 19 at the time. I was in a summer between semesters in college. I was training at
hmm,
Animals MMA, and they got me an amateur Muay Thai fight. And then,
okay.
yeah, we got the ball rolling from there.
All right.
So
Yeah. So, like, if you don't mind me asking, like, how old are you right now? Like, because you've been doing it for a long time, seems like, right?
yeah, I'm 29 years old now. I've
Okay.
had about amateur and professional. I've had about 90 fights total.
Ooh. All right.
Um, and most recently, I've made the transition into the bare knuckle fights, bare knuckle boxing, Lethwei. Um,
Right.
so yes.
Okay. Um, so like when you started training Muay Thai, is it in America or after you went to Thailand?
First started training Muay Thai in America. I think my first ever Muay Thai class was with Kyansak Sor Ploenjit in New Jersey,
Okay.
Muay Thai legend.
All right.
And then animals, we have some very good Muay Thai. We have Shannon Kouldjery. His dad was a Lumpini Stadium champion. Um, so we have some good Muay Thai here in America. But I didn't fight professional Muay Thai until I went to Thailand in the Phuket stadiums. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
What make you want to go to Thailand?
The Tiger Muay Thai tryouts, I heard like that could be a
Okay.
real life changer for me. And
Right.
I heard the winner of the tryouts got a $100,000 contract with one championship.
Hmm.
I didn't get that big contract, but I still was able to make my debut for one shortly after those tryouts. So it was a really good move, and I'm glad I went for it.
Yeah. How is it like training in Thailand different than America?
So much different. First the humidity. It takes like a few
Yeah.
days. Yeah, I walk down the street like just to walk to training. I'm already dripping in sweat.
That's
You
true.
learn to love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, you also shower constantly because, lots of mosquitoes. I'm always putting this mosquito spray on. Um, but the training is phenomenal. MMA, you're wrestling guys from Dagestan, Chechnya, all these Russian guys,
Hmm.
Kazakhstan, and then you're doing Thai. No, you're doing Muay Thai with the Thais. Um, so you're getting all these different cultural experiences, hearing all these different languages. And then the training is phenomenal, obviously. At Jackson Wink, where I train now, it's all MMA. It's not there's a boxing class and a Muay Thai class. No, it's just MMA classes. Everyone
Okay.
there is an MMA fighter, and everyone's training for MMA. It's specific to that sport, so the training is definitely a lot different.
All right. How long did you stay in Thailand?
6 months this year and 6 months last year, so a total of 1 year. Living in
Okay.
Phuket, training at Tiger. I had two fights and one championship. I had that Lethway fight, and I did a little bit in the Muay Thai stadiums. So yeah, 1 year in total. I can't wait to
Okay.
go back. Eventually, I'm going to live there one day. Make that
Uh,
my home forever.
all, all right. How is your Thai? Do, you able to speak some, or is
Uh,
it? It's not easy to learn, right? It's hard. Like for us, like to learn English is a little bit easier, I guess. But to learn other languages compared to English is like a little bit harder. Maybe because we more familiar with English, I guess, right? And then
mhm,
if you go look at other languages like whatever, Cambodia or Burmese or Thailand,
mhm.
Thai language or Chinese or Japanese, things like that, it's a lot harder. So like I can't imagine like from America going to Thailand and trying to learn the language, you know. And
Yeah.
I know some of the people from Tiger Muay Thai, like they don't speak much English either. So how is your Thai and how do you communicate and how's it?
My Thai is not that good, but I like how all the words in Thai are all like one syllable. So it's easy to learn the words. But
Hmm.
yeah, I get so confused between like cow, like rice and knee. And like a lot of these words are like they sound the same. The word white, the word rice, the word knee, it's all like cow. It's
Hmm.
like different emphasis on different letters. And the tonal language, the part where it's like there's four different tones that you speak in Thai, I have not picked that up at all. I still need to learn the Thai alphabet to be able to read. But I'm learning how to hear different Thai words. Like the trainers
Okay.
always say, Leo, Leo, like hurry, hurry. Um, so you pick up a little bit, but if I spend more time there, I definitely will get my Thai
Yeah.
a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, when you train in Tiger Muay Thai, it's you stay there. It's brutal, right? They're like every day is like you have a fight or something, right? They're really strict with their training and all that. Can you tell me a little bit about how they train and the experience of that?
Yeah, the training is it's unique because I do different sports. I'm competing in Lethwei and Muay Thai. Different athletes can do different types of training. Like I do the MMA in the evening, but sometimes I'll
Mm.
do boxing or Muay Thai in the morning. There's strength and conditioning for the fighters. Usually I'm doing that 2, 3 times a week.
Hmm.
And you can pick your own training sessions. Like I'm doing the boxing with boxers, and then I'm doing Muay Thai with Muay Thai fighters, and then it's time for MMA practice. So I'm doing these completely different martial arts and learning these different skills. Um, and it's really unique, the training, you know. It's definitely a lot different. Whereas in Jackson Wink, I'm doing MMA, same thing, the same group of
Mm.
people, you know, 3, 4 times a day. Um, so yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. How about the food and the people, the culture there?
I lose a lot of weight out there because I mostly eat cow pad guy. It's only like 80 baht where I go.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's very easy to eat healthy living on the soy Thai yet. I never even
Mm.
owned a motorcycle or a car. I just walked to a place to eat, walked to a training, walked to my
Mm.
hotel. I just walked everywhere. And
Yeah.
yeah, living is very simple for me. I eat just a little bit. I train at least twice a day, usually 3, 4 times a day.
Okay.
Um, and that's it. That's my life.
Yeah. Mm. How many times did you fight in the one championship?
I had two fights. I won my
Oof.
first match against a person from Turkey, and then I
Mm-hmm.
had my first professional loss against a guy from Russia.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I'm gonna build my record before I either go back to one or start working my way to the UFC, which is now
Okay.
what it looks like the plan is to do.
Right. Okay. Okay. And how did your fight with Joshua Win in Burma come about?
Yeah, so I heard the Muay Thai coach asking all
Okay.
These Muay Thai guys who, you know, a lot of them are really skilled. Like, hey, want to do Burmese bare knuckle boxing, Chosor win? And everyone's like, no, no, no. Why would I fight bare knuckle? Why would I fight this guy? He knocked out Punk Sari. No, no, why would I fight? Everyone's saying no. And
Yeah.
then I walk up to him. I'm like, hey, I know I'm on the MMA team. I'm not known for my Muay Thai, but I'd
Hmm.
love to take this fight. I've always loved studying Lethwei. Um, this sounds like a really difficult fight, and I want to do it. And then,
Okay.
yeah, he got the contract the next, within a few days, he got the contract and started a full training camp. I started training a lot more with the Muay Thai guys. A lot of guys in one championship, like Felipe Lobo, a lot of big name
Yeah.
Muay Thai fighters. I started training with them more every day.
Hmm.
And then I stepped a little bit away from MMA so I could do more of those sessions. And the speed of the Muay Thai fighters, they kick way faster. It's a different style, different stance, different type of fighting than MMA. So I learned a lot in that training camp. I feel like I improved so much overall as a martial artist getting ready for that fight with Joe Sarwin.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, do you ever heard about Burma before that or no? Because a lot of people know Thailand, they know Muay Thai, they heard about it, but like in America here, right? For me, like when I talk to people, this Burma, where is it? Like, as I always have to say, it's between China, India, and Thailand. Nobody knows. So, like, how did you hear about Burma first? And
So
of course, Lightweight.
yeah, I used to be a geography teacher. I used to teach high school
Ah,
history and geography. So, of course, I knew about the country. I knew about the sport of Lethwei probably because of Dave LeDuc,
okay.
because of all the podcasts he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yeah.
I'm someone who I try to compete in every single martial art that exists, and I've done all these different grappling arts. I try to go everywhere, and I want to do everything at least once. And the Lethwei was always on the bucket list. I'm like, oh, that's something I'll probably never do. That's something that's so out of reach.
Right.
Then I found out they were doing amateur Lethwei. They were going to do the amateur Lethwei World Championships in somewhere in Europe, and I was training for it. And I was getting ready,
Uh-huh.
and they canceled the whole event. It all kind of fell apart. I'm like, oh,
Mm,
I guess I'll never do Lethwei. And then
okay.
that day at Tiger, I heard that there's an offer to do it, and I took advantage of it. Um, and I absolutely loved it. I was recently offered another like big Lethwei fight, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, I'm not in Thailand. I really wanted to do it. It was a big name. I was really excited to do it. I'm like, oh, when I
Right.
come back to Thailand, I want to come back into Lethwei. I can't wait
Okay.
to do that again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's in a way, I mean, it's hard because like it would have been better, if it's like the political situation. If it's better, it would have been like a lot better. Like the stadiums and the support of the people, everything would have been better. But
Mhm.
yeah, what can we do? So
Yeah.
how did you feel like that when you get to the actual fight, and how the rules, because you're not. I don't think you ever fight professional lightweight before you fought Joshua Win. So how did the rules and regulation? How did you go about it?
Yeah, it was interesting. Not, usually I play more of a points game. I try to score my point,
Right.
hit and not get hit. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not known as a knockout artist. And meanwhile, Chosar Win always comes forward and he's throwing like bombs. So first round, he hit me with a few punches, and I'm like, you know what, I can take this. He hits hard, but I know I can take his shots, and I know he could take mine.
Okay.
I think I landed a head kick and he just walked right through it. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a long, this is going to be 5 rounds. We're going to throw everything
Yeah.
at him. He's going to throw everything at me. And I just enjoyed it. I just had so much fun. Um,
Mm.
I kind of realized at some point I wasn't going to knock him out, but I kept trying to throw my kicks. I kept trying to keep the distance. I was a lot taller than him. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to run away too much, but I did want to back up and keep him at distance because I know he wanted to come close and throw punches. But
Right.
overall, it was 15 of the most fun minutes of my life going in there with him. So yeah, absolutely loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Like, do you comfortable with like the rules and stuff like that, or you have to adjust? It's
I think in the future, I'm going to need to be more aggressive. When I
okay.
fight left way again, I'm going to need to come forward more. And I'm going to need to sit down on my punches, turn some things over. A lot of my
Mm-hmm.
kicks, I could have committed more to them and put more damage on them. If I if I want to be, more
Hmm.
successful in wrestling and start getting more knockouts. I'm making
Yeah.
some adjustments with my coaches now about turning my hips over, getting more power into my strikes. And I think we're gonna see that in the near future with me. But that's gonna be a big change I make, especially with the left way rules. You have to win by knockout. Um,
Right. Yeah. We love some
yes,
knockouts over here.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I have the experience with headbutts. Headbutts from sambo. I do combat
Okay.
sambo. And the
Yeah.
headbutts are different because you wear a jacket. You can grab the jacket and use it as leverage to set up your headbutt. In sambo,
Hmm.
you also have headgear, so the headbutts are not as damaging.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, kind of mix my Muay Thai style with the clinching, the
Yeah.
headbutts that I already knew from sambo. But I think with another left fight, I'm going to show so much more than that I showed in that first fight.
Yeah.
Um,
Because headbutts are crazy. And bare knuckle, you gotta get comfortable. When you like so comfortable fighting Muay Thai or other martial arts, you don't see like the headbutts coming. Like,
mhm.
and then when you wear like the bigger gloves and when you do bare knuckle, like your fist, the size of your fist is different, right? When
Mhm.
you try to cover, you thought like it would be good, but it
Yeah,
slipped in and you know,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
At
think.
Texan Rink, we have a good style for the small 4 ounce gloves where we're able
Hmm.
to, we're not too reliant on covering up because we're used to fighting in the smaller gloves, which is similar enough to bare knuckle. But
Okay.
yeah, I think I make a few more adjustments. I'm gonna have a much better left leg performance next time. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that.
definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you made it to all the way to Yangon, and so it was like after since then I wanted to talk to you about all that, but yeah, the time wasn't right, and as you know, in America we all busy. I got like two jobs, and I do this.
Mhm.
Like this is like the third thing I do, so we're like
Mhm.
very busy. Yeah. Um. Yeah, so like how many you fought in one championship? Like how many different like companies did you fought for?
A
How many
lot of them.
different.
I
Mm-hmm.
want to play for all of them, but yeah, fought in Australia, fought TGL, the Great Lethway.
Mm-hmm.
Fought in some local Phuket stadiums. My last fight
Okay.
was Ren TV. Ren TV is they're in Moscow, Russia. That was just straight bare knuckle boxing. Um, but it looks like next year we're going to be focusing more on MMA. I think we're going to do a 4 fight deal here in America, and I believe by the end of next year I will be in the UFC, and that's the plan right now.
Okay. Yeah. I think if you do like again, you do Fury next year. Um, you said 4 fights, right? 4 fight contract
Yeah.
with Fury. Yeah, I think if yeah, 4 fights, and if you get the belt and if you go through it. Love to see you in UFC, man.
Yeah, I'd love
Yeah.
to be the first person to perform a Lekka Moon in the UFC cage. um,
Yeah.
love to bring some Lethway to the UFC. I just got to get,
Yeah.
4 knockouts or 4 submissions in my next 4 fights, and then end of
Uh-huh.
2025, I'll make that debut. So that's what
Yeah,
we're
man.
working towards.
I love to see that. And yeah, l- one is good as well, either one or UFC, but now you got like a road to UFC. Then I say like, definitely go do that. Like, make sure you got all those 4 fights.
Mhm.
The UFC they like some knockouts too, they
Mhm.
always
Mhm.
give like they look at you like knockouts, things like that. They love it. They want to give like contract to those who can do more damage and knockouts and also
Mhm.
entertain.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a little bit risky, right? If you when you fight, like you want to make sure you win, and then you take the points, and when you do that, yeah, you got more chances to win. But at the same time, like you may not get into like UFC. They UFC like they're not always looking for the best fighter. They're looking for like the one who can sell, right? And who
Sometimes,
gonna
yes.
so
Yeah.
so a mix of it, right? So yeah, man. Yeah.
Yes,
Um
sir.
like I saw you did a lot of fights. A lot of fights. Like let me see. Let me share it on the screen.
Oh
So,
yes, combat sambo. That was the Pan American Games. Um,
okay,
yes, in Costa Rica.
all right. So it looks like you got you is it gold or they
Yes, that was
like
gold.
first?
I won
Okay.
3 fights that day. I won against Argentina, Uruguay, and I won against Dominican Republic. Those are my 3 wins for the Sambo Pan Ams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of my goals is to be a Sambo world champion. The U.S. has never had a world champion in combat Sambo.
Okay.
Um, the highest place I got was 5th place, which was not a medal. But hopefully next year, if I'm able to work it out with my UFC Fight Pass schedule, I'm gonna try to do combat sambo as well. And
Mm,
Worlds next year in Turkmenistan in Ashgabat. So if I could represent the U.S., take home a gold medel,
okay.
make history first combat sambo world champion, that's what I'd love to do.
All right. Okay. And how about this one? I see
Yes,
the Muay Thai belt. Yeah.
yeah. The 2 Naga belts are from last weekend. I did a grappling tournament last weekend. I'm doing another
Mm,
grappling tournament next weekend as well. And the
okay.
belt around my waist, that's a sport called combat wrestling, which is it's like jujitsu, but it's more focused on the takedown. And that was
Okay.
in Texas. That was in Texas a few weeks ago. So a lot of these are grappling belts and Muay Thai belt. Yeah, we just took this picture last week. I'm giving some of my belts to the Jackson Wink gym.
All right.
So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and okay, like how about this one?
Oh
I
yeah,
see this one
sure.
is grappling as well. Yeah.
Yeah, this was last weekend at the Naga.
Yeah.
This was the no-gi podium
This
for the
okay.
absolute division. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And yeah. So again, I think you got I think you're very talented. You got so many style. You have knowledge of, wrestling, different kind of wrestling and like boxing and Muay Thai and Lightweight and so many things. I think if you can combine all that, you can bring that all together, whatever the best of each fighting style, right? And then
Hmm.
you bring it together, and if you bring it to like Fury or UFC, I think you would do very well. Like how do you? What's your plan to combine all that into one?
Yeah, so that's the reason I'm at Jackson Wink right now. We have
Mm-hmm.
the coaches there. They coach John Jones. They coach Holly Holm. They got them
Right.
their UFC titles. MMA is a different sport in itself. It's its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a combination of it's its own sport. So working on very specific MMA strategies, making sure all my style is for MMA. We've been working a lot on sitting down on my punches. Sometimes I have my Muay Thai stance. I get a little tall. We're working on
Right.
sitting my hips down so I can, put more power behind my punches. Um, Getting my wrestling to be more aggressive. Um, just making certain things work better for the sport of MMA, and that's what I'm really going to become in this next year. Hmm.
Yeah. And you talked about earlier like living in the gym and like training full time. Like
Hmm.
how does it feel like giving up on your career, like comfortable teaching, like pretty much set for life, right? How do you
Hmm.
feel like giving up on that and going like it's kind of uncertain future, right? Going to MMA, you're not sure if you're gonna make a good living out of it or not. It's a big risk. Like, how do you come about that decision?
Yeah, I got to understand the sacrifice and the risk is worth it. I'm gonna be without money a lot of times. I'm not gonna see my family for years. But that's what it's gonna take to get to the top. There can't be all these other distractions going on. I work a job on weekends just to make a little bit of money to, buy some groceries and do some
Hmm.
extra private sessions with coaches. But training has to be the number one priority, and it is. And now that I live in a gym, I get out of bed, I walk 2 feet right over to the mat area, and I'm training. That's
Yeah,
everything in my life right now. That's all I think
yeah,
about all day. Yeah. There's
yeah,
no honestly, there's not anything else I do. It's not like I don't see my family. I don't really have a TV or video games. It's just when I'm in the gym, it's just training, and that's where I live. Train full time.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That's what I told like the younger fighters. Like they always ask me, okay, how do I do it? I said, first of all, you gotta be like all in. Not just 100%, but more than that. And if
Hmm.
you're working like a full-time job, it will be really hard. Like maybe a part-time on the side, but you got to really focus and do all in. And if not, like you're competing with, so all those people will be competing people like you, right? Who give up
Mhm.
everything for this and they're
Mhm.
100% focused and training at least 2 times a day. Like how you gonna compete with a person like Brad when you are only doing training like 1 time a day barely and working full time? Like no way, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I used to work 14, 15 hours every day. I'd wake up 5 a.m., do my early morning training, work for 15 hours, and then sleep in my car, see if I can get like a little nap, and then wake up, go right to another training session, 7, 8 p.m. to work, training late at night, after all my work, and then waking up early in the morning. And it was difficult just operating on no sleep every day, no time
yeah,
to eat really. And that was my life for many years. And now I'm privileged enough to be able to train full time and not work as many hours these days now that I've saved up money.
mm,
But yeah, that was a very difficult spot to get to.
yeah,
Yeah, life was not easy working. It was over 15 hours every day, coaching wrestling, teaching in schools, and just in New York City, you're traveling a lot. You're stuck in traffic for hours.
right.
So yeah, life was it was challenging, but I got to where I am, and now I can just commit fully to just being in the gym, um, and making this UFC run a reality.
Yeah, man, I'll be there. I'll be there when you when you make your UFC debut, because
Yes, sir.
yeah. And I want to talk about this one. So
Yes.
uh
Okay, so I made a post. This was
yeah,
before. Okay, so I think we were talking about this off air where it sounds like I'm going to be doing something different now. I think we're doing a potentially doing a 4 fight deal with Fury Fighting Championship on UFC Fight Pass. And
okay.
that means I don't know if I could do some of these other things. I
Mm,
was talking about potentially fighting in South Africa and MMA. And we'll see if these other things can happen. Um, but yeah, I'm really lucky I was able to fight in Lumpini, MSG. We zoom in here. Oh yeah, Moscow.
yep.
Yeah, still have a lot of
Part
goals.
Australia,
Happy to.
yeah.
Yeah, fought in Australia. So yeah.
Uzbekistan and
Oh yeah, if that was for Combat Sambo Worlds, Uzbekistan and
yeah,
Kyrgyzstan, beautiful cities, Bishkek and
Turkey,
Tashkent.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, yeah, of course, MGM Grand. That's the UFC. But one day I
yep.
definitely want to fight in Japan. I loved watching a K1 as a kid, the Saitama Super Arena and Pride Championship. I'd love to fight in Japan. That's one of my dreams as well.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens. This next year, I'm probably going to do 4 fights in Texas. So that's going to be the focus of next year. But after that, the UFC, and then onwards. Hopefully, I get to travel the whole world, fight in every single country on the planet.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you can do all that and like you said earlier, right? In 2025, get to uh the goal is to get to UFC by the end of 2025. I think that's a
Mhm.
good that's the right way to go. And like um um after, let's say after you finish your career with UFC, you still have chances. You still have time to do grappling or go fight in other countries as well. Uh, like Mighty Mouse is doing just wrestling right now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, retired from MMA and doing wrestling. Yeah,
Oh, I'll do jujitsu until I'm dead. I
yeah.
can grapple forever. And then I'll probably do a lot more coaching. I do a little bit of coaching now, but I'll do a lot more coaching after I retire from fighting. But
Mm.
that's probably 10 years in the future. So that's so hard to even think that far ahead. We'll see. We'll see if I'm still alive in 10 years.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I wish in 10 year time you will have like at least one or two belt from UFC.
UFC
Yeah,
belt, maybe a one championship belt as well, side by
yeah,
side. You never
yeah.
know.
That would be cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you very much for coming on and answering the questions. I love to see you in Houston whenever you come by, whenever you here, before you get here. like text me, let me know. I'd like to, host you here, and I'll pick you up from the airport. How about that? Yeah,
Thank you. Oh, Jesus
yeah.
Timbade. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, thank you. I'll hold on. I'll just stop the recording.